All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Abby Wasserman. My pronouns are she, her, and I work as the Assistant Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life here at the University of Pittsburgh. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this Hesselbein Global Academy virtual summit session entitled Reflective Practice, Looking Back to See Forward. Like I said, the session will be recorded. So our presenter for this session is Dr. Jason W. Womack. Dr. Womack is an instructor of leadership studies, a best-selling author, and a TEDx speaker. He coaches leaders to practice self-reflection skills and foster high-performance work cultures. He earned his doctoral degree in organizational leadership and change at the University of Southern California. Dr. Womack continues to research and write about reflective practice. His work helps leaders become more aware of their impact on the people they lead. Dr. Womack is a nationally board certified coach and has written 3 books, The Promise Doctrine, Get Momentum, and Your Best Just Got Better. So thanks, Dr. Womack, for being with us today. Thank you all for joining us. Let's go ahead and get started.
All right. So for those of you who are up on video, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear my voice coming through your speakers right there. We are winning so far. So like I said a little bit earlier, my name is Jason Womack. I go by JW. I am attached here at Maxwell Air Force Base. I serve as an instructor of leadership studies for the Air Command and Staff College, as well as the Air War College. I spend my day in the human domain. And what that means to me is, as I look at the future, as I look out at what the world is that we're entering, I have 3 big things that are on my mind. For those of you who are going to work for organizations, with organizations, or start your own organizations, there's this thing called human capital management. Some people call it talent management. Just out of curiosity, I'll ask a question. If the answer is yes, just reach up and cover your camera for me. And that lets me know your answer is yes. How many of you in the next year think you have a professional change coming your way? Just cover your camera if there's a professional change coming your way. Okay. So it looks like I got about 40% of the group. So here's what's fascinating is as professional changes come our way, we look around to see where we're going to feel comfortable. For a favor, if you're on a computer, top right of your Zoom screen, there's a little icon that says view. Hit that for me and change to gallery view. You don't need to see my big face. We need to see all of our faces. If you're on a phone, just swipe one way or the other and you'll see 4 new faces beautifully appear on your phone. Quick show of hands, cover your camera. Who is in gallery view right now? Let me just look to where I need to look. So, okay, Andrew, Molly, Mike. Okay, I got a few of you. Check this out. I'm going to stop talking. What I want you to do is to look around the screen, lock eyes with someone. I'm going to count to 3, 2, 1. Okay, look away. That was weird. Have you ever done that at an event, right? You walk into a room and there's a bunch of people and you look across and you lock eyes with someone. You look away and they're still looking at you. You're like, ooh, should I go over there? Should I walk away? And then who's ever walked towards that person? But by the time you got there, they were talking to someone else. You're like, yeah, I'll just keep on walking. This connection through eyesight, reflection. We see something when we look through our own eyes, that lens of our eye. So I want you to just park that. Hey, let's do it again. I want you to find somebody else on your screen. I want you to find someone else. Okay, look at them for the count of 5, 4. They might be looking back at you. 3, 2. Okay, come back to me. Here's the deal. Once you look at someone, it's really hard not to smile. Anybody find that? When you were looking at someone, I watched you. And there were some of you that actually broke a smile. Here's the challenge. The next few rooms you walk into today, this weekend, for the rest of the summer, look around the room and smile and see what happens. Let's back it up just a little bit. Reflective practice. Looking back to see forward. Let me get you all to write that word down somewhere. Reflective or reflection. Reflect. Each one of us brings a definition of that term, a definition of that word to bear. Now, I'm going to ask you to open up the chat here in just a moment down at the bottom of your Zoom screen. But before I do that, I'm going to ask you to look away from me and actually stare at that piece of paper. And in 30 seconds, I'll count, and then I'll bring you back. In 30 seconds, will you define whichever word you chose to write? Reflective, reflection, or reflect. I'll be back in 27 seconds. Welcome back, friends. So again, here in Zoom, I'm in gallery view. I don't know if you knew this, but I can actually drag your pictures around my screen. And so what I do is I regularly move you around, right? So I'm in the lower left-hand corner because I don't need to see me, but I keep moving you around. So it kind of feels like I can see you and you're kind of looking at me. I am fascinated by the space between thought and response. I don't know that we get enough of it. In the next 24 hours, who's going to go to class or be in a meeting? Just out of curiosity, cover your cameras for me. Who's going to go to class or be in a camera? Hey, by the way, did you notice what happened when you raise your hand versus when you cover the monitor? So all of a sudden, I can start to get that engagement with you that way. The space between thought and response. When I talk with people and I ask them, hey, do you have a reflective practice? Most people should on themselves. Yeah, I should do that, but I don't have the, hey, in the chat, somebody type in, anybody can, what excuse do most people give for not reflecting? What do we got? Throw that in chat. And as you hit enter, I want you to take a look at what your partners wrote. Interesting. Okay. Fantastic. So I'm going to go with all of those. Here's what I know. The one word that you wrote, that would be the invite that I would ask you to explore. So the space between a thought and response, when I said, please define that word, and then I was actually quiet for 29 more seconds. Some of you have never been in a Zoom that was silent for 30 seconds. My ask of each one of us is, what does reflect, reflection, or reflective mean to us? How do we look across a day? How do we look across a week? For those of us on professional projects, for those of us who volunteer for our community, for those of us with family, what does it mean to sit, step, stand back and expand the time between thought and response? Hey, friends, if you had to put your definition of what you wrote into a single word, take a look at what you wrote. If you had to take all of those words and put them into one word, will you type that one word in chat for me? As soon as you click enter, take a look at what your partners added. Everybody see those three little dots to the right-hand side of the chat box? If you click those three dots, you can save the chat. I think it's fascinating to see what other people bring to the conversation, the discussion. I can use a very simple term, reflect, reflective, or reflection, and look at where you all went. Any one of us could take any one of these words and have a deeper discussion. We could look at the last 24, 48, 96 hours, and I could take a look at any one of these words and allow myself to expand the time between thought and response. This is a presentation. I did build a slide deck. So let me bring up some things for you to take a look at. Andrew and Dr. Davis, will you let me know if you can give me a thumbs up if you can see my slide right there? Fantastic. So there you've got the title, Reflective Practice, Looking Back to See Forward. For anybody who wants to continue the conversation, I love me some Marco Polo, and text messaging is really easy to use these days. This is me and Frances Hesselbein. Frances has been a mentor of mine for 17 years. The first time that I met Frances was at a book signing by a protege of hers named Marshall Goldsmith. Marshall and I go way back about 20 years. And I'll always remember the first time I met Frances as I reflect. Yep, I'm about to do it. We were at this book signing. I looked across the room as I was speaking with Marshall and I said, Marshall, is that Miss Hesselbein? And he said, yeah. And I said, oh my gosh, would you introduce me to her? He said, no. I said, well, I want to meet her. He says, well, go talk to her. So I walked over and there was Miss Hesselbein sitting down at a table. She looked up at me, she read my name tag, and to this day I will remember this. She said, "Mr. Womack, how may I help you?" Now, I was smart enough and naive enough to say, "Ma'am, before I answer that question, I'm going to go home and think." So I flew back to California, and about 3 months later, I sent her an email. I said, "Miss Hesselbein, here are 3 things I would love your help with." 2 of them were very big asks. I'm a big asker. The third one, well, that was her help in introducing me to people that I could interview. And I said, "Miss Hesselbein, I think if I talked to people and I got their leadership stories, we could publish those on your website." So for those of you who want to read some leaders in action interviews, Frances helped me talk with people that we captured their stories. As I think through this concept of reflection, we all have stories of a moment, a time, a place, or even a person that because of them, we are where we are today. I'm a dictionary nerd, so I did go to the dictionary and I just grabbed these 2. So the first one here, you've got reflective, relating to or characterized by deep thought or thoughtful. Hey, I have gallery view up on the right side of my screen. Do y'all know that you can switch how big you see the slide versus how many people you see in gallery? Cover your camera, please, if your definition of reflective or reflective had something to do with thinking or thoughtfulness. Okay, that's you. Now, my question is going to be, well, what's the product of the product? What's the outcome of the effort? What's the deliverable on the other side, right? You've heard that saying, "I'm going to pay attention." Folks, I'm American. If I pay something, I want something in return. So that's where I brought in the noun definition, a thing that is a consequence or arises from something else. What arises out of the reflective practice that we have? So I'm going to ask you to return to your notebooks, grab a piece of paper, lean over and take a sheet out of your copier. This time I'm going to be quiet for about 90 seconds. And over those 90 seconds, I'm going to ask you to write down at least 10 things that are meaningful to you. I'm going to be quiet for 85 more seconds and ask you to come up with 10 things that are meaningful to you. I'll be right back, friends. It's me again. Give me a nod or a wink if you found yourself going back in time to a place or to a person. I got a couple of you. You just reflected. If you look up and down your list, cover your camera. Who got more than 5? Who got at least 5? Who got at least 5? Cool. Let's do this. Everybody circle number 3. We could take this another layer. I could say, hey, what is a time? What is a place? Who is a person? What was an event that's associated with number 3? Now, what I know about this is there's 3 kinds of reflections we can do. For my note takers or list makers, you might want to capture these. I wrote a dissertation on reflection, and here's 155 pages put into 3 bullet points. Dr. Davis, I think you can appreciate that. One kind of reflection is what I call about. I can reflect about the day. Some of you have done this. At the end of the day, you sit down, you take out a piece of paper, and you write down what you did that day. You write down who you talked to that day. Maybe even write down what you learned that day. I'm going to write about the day, the meeting, the conversation, the event. Break. Second bullet point. Number 2. The next kind of reflection I do is because of what happened today. And usually that moves from the frontal cortex, the decision, the executor of the brain, the deciding brain, the brain that says, I'm going to keep going here or I'm going to go over here. The moment I go to because of, I start to move towards that back of the brain, that reactionary, that biological, that respond part of the brain. Wow, I saw something happen today. And because I saw that, I think we need. I think we should. If you look back over the past 2 years, just in America, our country right here, there are things that we could talk about, and there are things that we could talk because of. I like to remind the people that I serve, the about gets the conversation started. It creates context. The because of moves us toward change. Now, the third conversation is interesting, at least it is to me, because now what I can do is I can take a look and tell you about what happened today, tell you what's going on because of what happened today, and have a conversation so that something different happens in the future. And my guess is that any one of you who's involved in the Hesselbein Global Academy are here not just to talk about what happened in the past, not just to say, well, because of things are happening, you want to get to the so that. So to practice this, I'm going to ask for your permission and a favor. Your permission is, can I invite you to have a short conversation with 2 other people on the screen? The invitation is, we're going to have you go to a small room with 2 other people and have a conversation on the screen. And here's going to be my ask. If you took notes, circle that middle conversation. Because of. And here would be my prompt. Here would be my ask, the invite. Because of making a list of things that are meaningful, what are you reflecting on? What's present for you? Now, what Abby has been doing dutifully in the background is she's been creating these small little Zoom breakout rooms. And in just a moment, hold on, Abby, in just a moment, she's going to invite you into a small group. You're going to get there and it's going to be weird. Who's ever been in a Zoom breakout room that was weird? Just be honest, cover your camera for me. Fantastic, me too. What makes it less weird? 2 things. Start your video. Many of you, you're with me on that one. Number 2, smile. We practice that at the beginning of the session. And then what I do need is everyone's going to take a look at the clock, because you only get 2 minutes per person. I know some of us are like, oh my goodness, but 2 minutes isn't enough. You get 2 minutes. So that I can help you out a little bit. Who are my talkers? You get the microphone and you just hold on to it forever. Just tell me. I need to look at you. Okay, I got a couple of you. 2 minutes. Hey, who are the folks that they take the microphone, they say as little as possible, and they give the microphone away as quickly as possible? Let me just see you smile or nod. Okay, Betty, 2 minutes. It's because I love you. Now what's going to happen is you're going to go 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, because we should be in groups of 3. Abby, give me a thumbs up if we're pretty good on 3s. Fantastic. Then you're going to have a little bit of time. I wonder what you'll do as a trio with a little bit of time. All right. In a moment, you'll get into a group. One of you will start sharing. Because of making a list of things that are meaningful to me, I'm thinking, I'm wondering, or I'm feeling, you'll share for 2 minutes, pass the microphone, 2 minutes, pass the microphone, and eventually you'll all come back to me. Give me a thumbs up if you're good with this. I love you all. Now wave goodbye, and Abby's going to send you into a Zoom breakout. Bye-bye. Abby, I would work with you any day of the week.
Thank you. I'll take the compliment.
Come on.
Listen, they make it easy. They knew what we needed on that breakout feature.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So now I get 9 minutes with you. Talk to me about Abby.
Oh, about me? I don't know. I don't know what you want to know.
What was on your list? I saw you writing.
What was on my list? Okay. I said like local queer community. I'm a member of LGBTQ community, and I feel like we have such good vibes here in Pittsburgh. You know, I see people out and about, and you really get to connect with people. Like, you know, I feel like I see you, you know, all the time at a drag show or whatever, and say, hey, you know what? I always see you. Let's not be strangers. Let's be friends now. So
come on.
I love that.
And what has happened when you do that?
I've met a lot of new people. Like, I've made a lot of friends that, like, now I have their number and would text them to hang out, where, like, I'm not from here. So, and, you know, then I've spent, you know, a lot of it in the pandemic, the time that I have been here.
Right.
So, you know, you got to make some buds, do some stuff with. And so it's really nice, you know, people that, and I found too that, like, people maybe aren't always so bold as to do that themselves, but really value when you can do that and are wanting that same thing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, I'm a pretty good read of the room. So if you find that weird, I'm going to cut the conversation off quickly and say, nice to meet you, and then keep it pushing. But, you know, a lot of times people are definitely also looking for that connection, and then, you know, want to exchange phone numbers. Hey, do you want to go to this event together? I don't have anybody to go with. And then sometimes they feel the same way. So I love that.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I did a thing today for about 300 folks were in a room, and I said, I always say this, I'll probably say it today, so you'll hear it a second time. We are starving for connection, and we fear connecting.
Yeah.
When they come back from their small breakout rooms, watch, and there will be some people, not everybody, but some people will be smiling. Mm-hmm. Some people are going to be leaning in. Mm-hmm. I am going to get from someone, we needed more time.
Yeah.
Not from everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's just fascinating to me that we keep getting these shots, these experiments where we could practice, mm-hmm. and we're missing. We're missing. Mm-hmm. So even these sessions, like, I'll go back and watch the recordings. But let's be honest, in 45 minutes, I could talk for 44, no problem. Mm-hmm. Or I can give them 30 seconds and then 60 seconds and then 90 seconds to write. Mm-hmm. I can give them 10 minutes to talk. I'll do a little sharing back and forth. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, maybe they'll remember something I said, maybe, mm-hmm. but they'll have 3 journal entries and they'll have a connection with 1 or 2 people.
Right.
And I'll tell the Hesselbein Institute any day of the week, the most important thing that I can get people to do right now is connect.
Right. Especially now. And I think I see that a lot working with college students. You know, they spent so much time in only this space and then have a hard time connecting. And like I said in my introduction, I work with fraternity and sorority, so that's all about connecting, but that can still be really tough for people. And even those folks already in chapters, you know, learning how to reach out and do that recruitment and get people interested and make those connections. Yeah, I think that's a good, how you put it, wanting to connect, but scared of making the connections.
And I'll run the assessment. I'll say, hey, how many of you really like the friends you've got? Right? Well, I love my friends. Who's a little bit worried about making a new friend? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, boom, there you have it. Mm-hmm. Right? I want the friends I've got. Will the next people I meet let me in and then hurt me?
Right.
And then the older we get, the less I want that.
Right. Yeah.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Northwest Ohio, so I don't know. Like people don't know Ohio. I would say Toledo area, but like an hour from
Perrysburg?
Close.
Other side. Yeah.
No, I mean that's the right direction. Like Fremont. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure
I got family in Perrysburg.
So. Oh, okay. So yeah. So, and I went to Bowling Green for undergrad. So Yeah, so I grew up there. I grew up like very rural, like on a farm. So
Yeah.
very different. My parents think I'm just wild for living in the big city of Pittsburgh, but
The big city of Pittsburgh.
right. They're like,
So
parallel
I was
park
gonna,
every day.
yeah, I was gonna hold off on this, but I got my nephew.
Mhm.
He is a high school sophomore. Was just recruited to play hockey in Pittsburgh
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness.
as a high school sophomore.
Yeah, he must be wildly talented.
Ready for this? He's moving there from Manhattan Beach, California.
Oh, oh my. Wow. What a difference.
Right?
I
And I
mean,
just told him, I said, Ethan, oh my goodness. So I may call amongst my friends in the Pittsburgh area to help my little guy.
yeah, definitely. Well, the good news is it's a very friendly place. I feel like
Right.
people care about each other and all that. But yeah, I mean, that's a big transition for someone his age, like no matter what your age, that's a lot. Wow.
It's a lot. It's a lot. All right, let me send another broadcast here.
Okay. And I had it automatic for the 9 minutes, but if you bring them
Nope.
up, you'll change that.
Nope, I don't. I give them
Okay.
what I said I was going to. Okay. Two. So you are in a master's program?
No, I'm
Doctoral
I'm
program.
all done. Yeah, no, not I just work here. No school for me, just working.
No school for me yet.
Yes, for now. For now. So yeah, no,
Yeah. Cool.
I got my master's at Kent State and I graduated in
Okay.
2019 and then started working here then.
And then you started working there. So you started pretty much in the pandemic. Tell me this. Do you work with Sarah like side by side?
We don't work very collaboratively. We're in the
Okay.
same space. And we actually used to be kind of this like hodgepodge office that had like leadership, diversity programs, and then FSL. And now we're broken up. So
Okay.
we work in the same space right now, but no, not very
Okay.
collaboratively, actually, kind of weirdly.
Okay. One day I will get up there.
Yeah.
One day I will get up there. Okay, my friend. We're gonna come back. We're gonna take a class photo.
Okay.
That way you guys have a little stuff for social. And then I think I'm gonna talk about reflection, the 3 views, and then I'll talk about practice. Cool.
And are you good on like time? You want any warning there? Are you watching?
I'm watching. I mean, yeah, and that's always a good play, when you want to jump in.
Okay.
But I should be good.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Go ahead and close them now. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yes. Oh, they're coming back. Ainsley and Douglas or Doug or Marin Douglas, they're like, out of here. Because you're coming back. Ainsley, thank you so much. Did you attend this program last year, or is this your first Hasselbein Global Academy?
This is my first one. I just got the email because I'm a stamp scholar, so I just am trying to like involve in everything I can.
Awesome. Well, we're delighted you're here. And Cynthia, welcome back. I know sometimes there's a little drop off between the small group breakout and then the large group, everybody back. We got a little countdown timer going. So in about 40-ish seconds, you're going to see my gallery view populate with beautiful faces. Oh my goodness, here they come now. This is great. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Look at that. I'm seeing some smiles. I'm seeing some blurred screens in the background. Hey, friends, we're going to take a class photo right now. We're going to take a class photo because when was the last time you went on vacation and had too many pictures with everybody in it? Doesn't normally happen. Usually there's someone who's left out. So if you want to be in the class photo, I need you to start your video for me. Okay, that's great. Fantastic. I'm going to count down from 3. You're going to smile. 2, everybody look at the camera. 1. My goodness, I love you. You're awesome people. Will you reach down to the reactions tab there in Zoom? I want you to put that last 9-minute conversation into a reaction and throw that up on the screen. I want to see what you've got that we come up with. We got one of those. We got another one of those. Good. Okay. Great. These are popping up. Beautiful. And we want to change their reaction. Sometimes people do that. Now, you met with 2 people, 1 person you probably didn't know. Everybody do this if you did not know anybody in your group. And in 9 minutes, you started sharing what was meaningful to you, some because ofs, and do this if you found out that you had some things in common. Who had some things in common? You see, reflective practice is a team sport. And at the end of the day, I will challenge or ask or invite. Why don't we do invite? Sometime today, someone's going to ask the question that we all ask one another. How was your day? Cover your camera if somebody's going to ask you, how was your day? Cover your camera for me. I want to know who to talk to. Shoot, that's everybody. Okay. Here's what I need you to do, friends. I need you to filter. This is a filter. This is a hashtag. I need you to filter at what level do you want to have a connection with that person? Do you want to talk about the day? Easy. I got up, I hit snooze twice. I didn't do my workout. I forgot to eat breakfast. I'm late with that paper that's due. I attended this class with this short guy from Montgomery, Alabama. Done. Handled. Check. Anybody know anybody who complains about traffic regularly? Check. Easy. We can move. Because of. Now I have to be a little more selective. Because of writing down a list of things that are meaningful to me. Because of thinking through these 3 different kinds of discussions we have. Or maybe because of jumping into a breakout with 1 or 2 people that I'd never talked to before in my life. So that, do I want to continue having the conversation? And do I want that to move in to the future? Friends, I'm going to ask for 2 of you to give the group a because of. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scope it for you. Could I get 2 volunteers? You know who you are. Just cover your camera and I'll call on you. 2 volunteers to give us a because of the small group activity. What are you thinking? What are you wondering? Or what are you feeling because of the 9-minute small group activity? Is there anyone here that's willing to cover their camera and come off mute and share with us a because of? Kayla, you'll be number 1. Ainsley, you'll be number 2. Is there a third that someone was just too slow? Ah, yes. We're going to go Nusha. And then I'm going to just call you Sprint from now on. So that's what I'm going to call you because it says Sprint's iPhone. Cool. Kayla, take it away. Because of the small group activity. What do you got?
Because of the small group activity, I learned that leadership is more about being than doing, and driving not only yourself, but others to have passion in what they do. And that can ultimately have a greater, and that can ultimately have a greater impact on the world in its own way.
Hey, everyone, will you reach down and throw Kayla a reaction from the little tray? We got one of those. Kayla, take a look at this. That's just some goodness. Okay, who's next? Go, Ainsley.
Because of the small group, I learned that there's other people that share their same passion for what they're going into. Like once they're going into college or the career that they want to go into, a lot of people share the same passion, that it started when you were younger and you just learned that it was something that you wanted to keep doing, and it's okay to be passionate and be who you are, because there's nothing wrong with it. So ultimately you get to choose what you want to do and go down the path that you want to go down.
Hey, Ainsley, will you do that last sentence? Will you change the pronoun from you to I for us?
I don't even remember the last sentence I said. I don't even remember the last sentence I said.
Make it up. You got it. It's in your heart. I can see it.
I seriously could not tell you.
It's okay. You said it's okay to be yourself.
Oh,
and do
I
have
have
to do all the work for you. So now I want you to do it all, but I want you to use the pronoun I and my. Go.
That it's okay to be yourself, because
Be who?
be myself.
Yes. Keep going, girl.
It's okay to be myself because I am who I am, and it's okay to be who I am.
Everybody, throw that girl a reaction right now. My goodness, that was beautiful. Okay, who's next?
So what I learned during our group discussion is that what we find meaningful for ourselves is often derived from how we orient ourselves in the world and
All right.
we orient ourselves.
Sprint. Stop. Start over. You're talking about you right now. So give me some I and my.
Okay. I learned how the way I set up my goals. So in some ways, what is meaningful to me is I have to start with a goal, then everything, but from that I have meaning from is because of the goal. Like I have a goal, and then what's meaningful is because it's to reach that goal.
Beautiful, brother. If I could reach to this Zoom right now, I'd give you a big bear hug. Bam. Let's do a jazz clap. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Because of the small group activity, I was reminded how much I love being around people, especially strangers, and that it's easy for me to communicate with others, especially like talking with those that I have similar interests in, but then also learning from those that I am not as similar to.
High five through the Zoom camera, girl. Bam. Friends, if you want to write one down to leave this session with, we are starving for connection and we fear connecting. If you need a proof, look at the past 700, 800 days. Back in March of 2020, my school shut down. We sent everybody home. We started wearing masks and we met in Zoom where people were told to turn off their cameras. Not even a year ago, we flipped the switch. We started bringing people back. We started making them come to, whether that's class or to work, hoping that if they came back, things would get better. I could ask people individually on this screen, but there's going to be people who resonate with this next statement I say. There are people that we know that went back and it wasn't any better. And I'm wondering, what do we need to do? What's the practice that we need to experience so that we can look across the table, look across the Zoom, look across the phone, and connect with ourselves so that we can connect with one another? At the end of today, at the end of this week, at the end of everything, we all have a chance to look back. I wonder what it is that we get to look back on. My hope is that we'll give ourselves the gift of our own attention and look back on what's meaningful to us, what we believe in, what we stand for, what we won't stand for. And it's up to each one of us because we're the leaders. My guess is that there's a few of you on this screen who wish someone you knew had attended this program today. And so the invitation is share this with them. Share this with them. Those of you who are going to chat with your parents, your siblings, your children, those of us who don't have our parents or siblings or children around, the friends and mentors and teachers. What happens when I expand the time between thought and response? It has been an honor and a pleasure. Getting to serve under Frances Hesselbein's tutelage has been an amazing journey for the past 17 years. For those of us who have been blessed to be able to spend time with her, for those of you who are blessed to be able to spend time around her, she is a gem of a friend, a mentor, and a boss for the folks that I know that got to work for her. It is, look at you go, Neil. It is 12:44. Abby, I'm going to send the microphone back to you, and I'm going to put in chat my contact information in case anybody wants to continue the conversation. Thank you. I love you. I'm amazed by you. Keep going, friends.
Thank you so much, Dr. Womack, for your presentation. I think we can all give him some of those reactions, those claps he was sharing with the rest of us. Thank you to all of you here who joined and your participation. Really appreciate your engagement. So at the conclusion of the summit, you probably heard this in the other sessions, you'll get a link to a survey. So please give that feedback. That's always super helpful to hear about your experience today. And so I think there's a little break now until 1, and then I hope you will head on to the session then in about 15 minutes. So thank you all for being here and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. You're awesome. Keep it going. Spread the word. Go help somebody. Abby, I'm just going to stay here until you kick me out.
All right.
Okay. Kayla, how you doing? Oh, she's gone. Dr. Davis, did we do okay today? Oh, hit that. Yeah. Cool. I got 2 thumbs up. Neil, hit that unmute button so I can hear your beautiful voice.
Was the line that you said earlier, we are starving for connection and we fear connecting?
We want the friends we've got. We're worried the next one might hurt us.
All right. I went to Catholic grade school. That's going to take me a minute to type into my notes. Say that again. We are.
You got it. You got it. Say it out loud while you're typing it.
We are something.
Starving.
Are starving for
connection, comma, new paragraph.
Yes.
We fear connecting.
We fear connecting.
If I were live with an audience, I would say something like, who's ever had a boss that if they called, you would fight and find a way to work for her or him again? And I would have people raise their hand. And then I would say, who's had a boss that if they called, they would fight and find a way to never see that person again? And I would have people raise their hands. We want the connections we've got. What happens if I give my heart away and it gets hurt again?
I've worked for many corporations and I've built businesses myself, and I still love the line. Whenever I talk about one person, I said, best boss I ever had. He trusted me. He allowed me to do everything to be able to grow what the company needed, but he let me grow at the same time. I said I would go through a wall for him.
Right. Hey, the 4 of us on the screen, everyone take a look at the camera up on your computer. I need this photo. This is just beautiful. All right.
Hey, my daughter's an actress. Say the word yay and take
yay.
Yay. Yay.
All right. We need to go because Abby needs this Zoom room. You're awesome. Keep up the great work.
And thank you. You are awesome.
Double summer. Ronald McDonald. Double
All
summer.
right, you guys. Round of applause.
Yeah.